Well, well, well. If it isn't a new chapter, 1184 only bones get left behind. Clear reference to Brook or death in general. And being Sake, right? It's like a lyric inside the song. And also maybe another one, since we see some jellyfish with the emu eyes there on the cover. I'm reminded of the scene where Emu stripped Jay Garcia of his immortality along with his flesh and blood and shit and left him with just bones. Just his skeleton. Alright, let's begin with the fucking chapter. Why am I seeing Nami again? This meme with the female characters, never going to die. When the princess of Hesperia turned 14, 5 princes came seeking her hand in marriage, drawn by rumors of her extraordinary beauty. I yield. Princess Shuri 14, you're all too weak. They already wear crowns. Aren't they princes still? I have no interest in weak men. That's like Alvida. And don't even think about approaching me if you can't play music. Music, really? So, I mean, that eliminates like 90% of the population. But it does open the door for the Rambar pirates. Let's continue. What the fuck, is he still going to walk hand by hand with Brook? Aren't you like too old for this shit? I hear you thrust all your suitors, Princess Shuri. Yup. You like strong women, right, Brook? Don't you think I've grown stronger? Not to mention cuter. And I bet someday my boobs, what the fuck, will be big enough to pop right out. Chill. Don't say that, it's unladylike. My god, you're gorgeous. May I see your panties? So that character trait was always present. Then they start singing. Brook strumming the guitar. From frogs to cattle. From kings to chattel. What the fuck is chattel? Slave of the dead you'll find only bones get left behind. So that's another reference to the title of the chapter. Then they laugh. I love your songs, Brook. His Majesty told me the same thing. You really admire my dad, don't you, Brook? My mom too. I guess he was my benefactor. If I hadn't crossed paths with your father by now, only my bones would be left behind. So he saved your life. And we're about to see a flashback within a flashback. Brook, 11 years old. He's in a cage, but still smiling. Must be nice. A school with real instruments. Scratch that. He's not in a cage. What the fuck? I'm very used to seeing the worst possible scenario in One Piece flashbacks, I guess. Anyway, he was just eavesdropping, grabbing the fence outside the music school. That filthy street rat is peering around again. Scram, you're making our students nervous. The stench of poverty. Is a stain on our country. Junkyard. Lil Brung is singing while playing something. It looks like a violin, but I doubt he has the money to buy one. But maybe he stole it. The king's bad. One day I'll play real music, the best you ever had. My mom and my daddy, my little brother too, with empty bellies rumbling, they had no food to chew. Wait, so they all died? I don't know why I'm even alive. Just crunching on word frogs, Jesus, to survive. So this is a song dedicated to the king. There he is. Those are some rotten lyrics. Did you write them yourself? Nothing. Yeah, it's my violin. It's supposed to be a violin, so it's made of trash or something. I made out of a glass bottle and some wires. Sounds good, right? Does have a freeing vibe to it, I guess. Brook's already a street performer. Brook's shirt says die. I've seen you around before. Are you a fan, mister? You could say that, but don't call me mister. I'm only 21. That's a rough 21, bro. Say what? You've got an old face. That's right, Brook. You look like you've had it rougher than most. That's an odd laugh you've got there. Very true. And laughter surely plays an important, pivotal role in the end of this story, I mean throughout, but as a token of our friendship, I'll treat ya, big bro. I caught some grasshoppers and frogs today. Are we making a magical potion? Delicioso. The secret ingredient is curry powder. I steal some from the navy. It makes anything taste like curry. Well, I guess it's not much of a secret now. And the king is stunned. Today's soup of the day features a fresh catch from the Euro Peninsula. It is dull, what? A balloon simmered in red wine, followed by prime, get that shit out of here. A6, grade ruby beef. Your Highness, this is the young lady of the Saffron conglomerate. She graduated valedictorian, okay, we get it. You had exquisite food and beautiful women at your disposal. But you prefer this? You're right, big bro. Are you so happy you're tearing up? I can't believe I'm still in Hesperia. I'm just a tad tired. Still happy to have this though. Wait, is he joking? So good that you're convulsing? That's great. Alright, time to get to singing later. You're leaving him to choke to death? Wait, I told you it's my treat. Don't fork over your cash. We're both going through hard times. What is the king doing there? Pulling out some sake. I don't know, a bottle of scotch and cigarettes. Cool, so they're fishing and 11-year-old Brook downing some booze. One day, cello port. So everything is music themed. A marine escort ship. Load the instruments onto the cargo ship. Someone's bleeding. What the fuck? Kid Brook. I don't know anything. This is a mistake. It reminds me of Kid Luffy when he got tortured by Port Semi. Got the crab, you suck at line. We know you're the courier. Those gangsters told you to drop off their powder, didn't they? Where'd you hide it? We paid our informant good money and they said you had the stuff. So are you ready to tell the truth now? We ain't talking about normal carry powder. What are we talking about? Cocaine? Where Brook is starts singing the song from earlier. The only dead bones get left behind. Peace. Quit singing. It might be only for a split second, but as long as I keep on singing, dying doesn't seem so it'll be over soon. Goodbye, stray doggy. Goodbye, big bro. Well, the punk's in our faces now. Let's kill him and go after the gangsters. Of the dead you'll find, only bones get left behind. Brook's ready to die. Shout out to Biggie. Yeah. Brook! And the king, Leuven. Or I'm sorry, he's still the prince. Big bro, what? He's a prince? I'm really glad to see you, Brook. I don't know what I'd do if you died. Please stand back, your highness. Shut up, I'll handle this with my own hands. These damn bastards put my good friend through hell. Look at the state of him. I'll give them a taste of their own medicine. Prince Leuven, we've apprehended the dealers from the Muron family. We've also confiscated illegal drugs and arrested their dealer. So this kid really had nothing but carry powder. Your Highness, please restrain your personal anger. The Navy has the backing of the world government. We're waging war against the government. Let's go. If the government is going to shield scam like this, they are going to, spoiler alert, then our world is doomed. Correct. Is that right, Kandel? I'm nothing more than your devoted steel blade. Wait a second. Isn't that like a rank on the servants of Imu? God, still, you're just garbage. And the cat through the marines. He's a swordsman, that's so cool. Speria Palace. You up already, Brook? Finally, the prince is taking Brook into the palace. I mean, he's your dear friend, you said before. I'm not angry at you, Prince Leuven. I simply ask in future, you keep in mind the weight of your royal standing. I got it. Hey, Brook, so you were a prince this whole time? Yeah, about that. I'm really sorry, it's not like I meant to deceive you. I just really enjoyed spending time with you. More importantly, you better not tell anyone that you swiped that carry powder. Every time Prince Leuven goes missing, it scares us half to death. I would never have guessed that you were spending your free time with such a cute little friend. And Brook is in love. He's into MILFs. Sorry, I didn't realize your wounds were still so deep. It's all good, don't worry about it. Anyway, tell everyone, this kid is my favorite musician. Get him a room at the barracks and give him a proper musical instrument. And arrange for him to attend school. A new star is about to be born in Esperia. Oh, I love this kid. And from now on, the palace is gonna be a lot more fun. And Brook is crying tears of joy, tears of happiness. Break next week. Shit. Very nice chapter. Nostalgic, I'd say. Reminds me of the simpler, the good old times in early One Piece. Take me back. This whole thing though with singing Prepare to Die has me thinking this whole time that maybe that has something to do with Big Sake and the Ancient Kingdom guys and girls. Like it was their swan song, but maybe not because it's called Big Sake. What the fuck? It's talking about the alcohol of one dude. Well, actually, maybe the whole kingdom was called Binks. Why are we assuming it's a guy? A lot of the themes in this chapter are overarching themes of the whole One Piece story, like music is definitely important. Again, see Big Sake. And also, at the end of each arc, we have a grand party with food, music, dancing and shit, laughter. Good times, having fun, as the Prince Leuven said. This palace is gonna be a lot more fun now. And as we know, Luffy always wanted the musician, cause pirates sing and party. and stuff. Well, music, that's one theme. The other is laughter. We saw Brook smiling and laughing, even though he lived in a trash heap by himself after his parents and his brother died of hunger, dining on some frog. I don't know if I need to explain why laughter is important in the One Piece world. The fucking final island where the One Piece is located is called Laugh-Tale and was named by the Roger crew after they discovered the One Piece treasure and they all laughed for some reason. And of course we have a litany of scenes where characters die while either laughing or smiling and shit, you know. I mean, the whole fucking story begins with Roger revealing that his mythical treasure is still out there and shit, and then gets executed while smiling. And you know, Luffy's joy boy who spreads laughter and happiness and shit and joy. I don't think I need to explain this shit, come on. And then we have the theme of friendship. Another obvious core central idea of One Piece. You need comrades, a crew, a family not related by blood. Well, I'm gonna reread this now, and I guess I'll try to mix them all up in the end. Try to tie them all into a theory or something. An idea. What's the deal with Suri's eyes, by the way? Because none of her parents, now that they are revealed, have that shit. I know it's an actual thing in real life. Heterochromia or whatever. She wants a strong musician, like Apu. Remember how I was talking about some themes earlier? Another one that has popped in recently is love. Because, you know, in the earlier One Piece days, there wasn't really any romance, at least in that sense. There was always the thrill of adventure romance. Well, that was up until Dressrosa. The whole arc was kinda around the theme of love. What did the narrator say? Something like, this is the country of love, passion, and toys. But recently, like in this arc, there's been a lot of love talk. Well, we have Scopper Gaban, who's like the Sanji of Roger's crew, who said something like, love knows no bounds, when asked about, hey, how did you and the giant over there make love? And then we had, of course, the whole flashback with Rox and Roger, which, curiously enough, was kind of centered around Saki, which, I mean, everyone was in love with, but of course, in the end, it was Rayleigh who claimed her heart. And of course, there was Rox with Ares and Teach, you know, that's a different kind of love. And also Harald with his sons. I mean, literally right before he died, he said, I love you to Loki. And with his late wife, I guess he had two late wives, but I'm not talking about Estrid. I'm talking about Ida, who was the loving one of the two. The other one was hatred personified. Anyway, Ida, obviously, through love, changed, first of all, Harald, who was a rogue, a brute before, you know, uncivilized and shit, and made him more accepting of others, other races, other countries even. But also, she changed Loki, who was a hateful piece of shit, but of course, justifiably. He was tossed out of a cliff by his own mother as a baby. That would fuck up anyone. Actually, that would kill everyone. But Loki's a special case. Yeah, all those were instances of love's importance. But of course, also, again, super recently, we had the parent-teacher conference there who's driven by their love for their children, chose to sacrifice themselves with them. First of all, they tried to save them, but since they couldn't, that was their resolution, their final decision. Now, speaking of that, the other kind, the romantic kind of love, between the love-struck, they're infatuated, you get what I'm saying, the couples, that's it. Here's a theory. What if, since we're going down that road, you know how Imu has like different forms, seemingly? Like, he has that shadowy form, that thumb-looking figure that resides in Mary Joa, and he has the newly revealed godlike badass form that came down to the lower realm, to Elbaf, to fight Loki and Luffy. Well, what if the Mary Joa form, that is always shrouded, that looks like he's underneath some kind of robe, what if that's a wedding dress. Because she, maybe it's a female in that form, I don't know, was left at the steps of the altar by Joy Boy, who turned to piracy instead of settling down. Alright, let's continue. Then we have the titular song, sung by both Brook and Shuri, about death, kinda, but it's also about life because it says like from little to big animals, or from slaves to kings. When you die, everyone's the same in death. It's kind of like what Cobra said back in Alabasta when he was at the royal baths with the Straw Hats, when he bowed down to thank them, and someone said, I think it was Zoro, I don't think a king is supposed to bow down. And Cobra's like, without the clothes, when you're naked, everyone's the same. I'm paraphrasing, but the idea, the concept is the same. Also in the live action, I don't know if it is limited to the live action, but I remember it from there. Vivi said, a crown is but a hat, and the kingdom is the people. Now I'm getting mixed memories, but the message is clear. Deep down, we are one and the same. Human beings. Sake. And I think that's why it's important for Oda to show celestial dragons resent the idea of being human. They all lambasted, chastised Homing when he wanted to leave Mary Joa to live as human, and he actually said, well, we are humans. We always have been. And they consider that blasphemy. And also when Homing, down in the lower realm, as they say, was actually hunted down by the rest of humanity for the crimes and all the pain inflicted by the celestial dragons on humanity as a whole. Yeah, when that came back to bite Homing's ass, he called back at Mary Jo and asked for help. He asked to at least take his wife and children back at Mary Joa. The guy on the other side of the snail line said, it was your choice or whatever, and then, don't call me back, human. They use it like a derogatory term, a pejorative term. So we have music, laughter, friendship, love, and being human in this chapter, but also in general as a multifaceted web of themes. I don't know. And if we manage to tie them all together along with treasure, another crucial subject to any pirate story, then we'll have the answers to every mystery of the series, I'm sure. Let's proceed. By the way, music is like the universal language, right? Between humanity. It's like a thing that connects everyone, that can resonate literally with humans across every country, every continent, every different language barrier, even actually every time in history. It unifies. Now, what else is universal amongst all different races and, cultures and shit? Fucking laughter. Now, through music and laughter and having fun, partying, celebrating, you can build the foundation for connection, for, friendship and maybe even love. I don't know. I'm just saying shit. But music is like the centerpiece of that chain. That's why I said in the previous chapter that one of the ancient weapons will be used to play music worldwide. Though in the One Piece world, everyone speaks the same language. But of course, there are still differences, major differences between even neighboring islands, because they're all isolated. They literally live in different time periods in some instances. And we actually have an example in the story of a war, a 400-year-old war, being ended by playing music. In a way, when Luffy rang the bell in Skypiea, everyone was delighted to hear that angelic sound of the bell. I remember everyone praising its beauty. But also after the war was over and Enel was defeated and shit, they all gathered around the fire and drank and sang and played music and danced and all that good stuff. Then we delve into Brook's past, inside the past, his childhood, meeting King Leuven and Lil Brooks playing the violin. He's proficient in many musical instruments, but I guess the violin is his favorite since it was his first love. Happy times. Until Brook gets captured and strapped onto the death chair. And Lil Brook, even though he's facing his imminent death, has the determination to start singing. But his dear friend Prince Leuven saves him at the last second. And saves him from poverty too, bringing him into the royal residence, but more importantly, bringing him into his family. Solidified by the "I love this kid," which makes Brook burst into tears of bliss. I guess he's happy to be alive. Similar to the scene where he joins the Straw Hat crew and entering this new pirate family resulted in him crying, even though he was a skeleton at that point. And he exclaimed, "I'm so glad to be alive." Well, at some point we have to close this shit, so I'm gonna leave you with this. My conclusion is, the One Piece is actually a song. One piece of music.